Our next panel will discuss emerging technology. Please welcome CEO of TEDCO, Troy Lamel-Stovall.
Was it only Sue or everyone?
Greetings. I know we still got folks kind of coming in, but we're trying to, Marty's trying to run a really tight ship here. We're, military, we got to be on time here. My name is Troy Lamel-Stovall. I humbly serve as the CEO of TEDCO. And I couldn't be more excited because we invest in cool emerging technology, and that is the title of this workshop. And we'll have some folks, and we're going to try to have some fun. And why is that? Because, as you can see here, I'm already ready for happy hour, and we're the only thing standing between you all and happy hour. And I've already got mine, so I want y'all to have y'all's too. So I got mine here already. So,
all they gave me is tea.
Well, I can't help that. Power of the moderation chair. And so this is, and I'll tell you, we really wanted this to be set up kind of as a kitchen tabletop, talking to folks. And what we talked about as we were getting prepped for this, we want to talk to you as if we were talking to, that crazy uncle that doesn't understand technology. And this is something that really benefits them. And that's what the kind of conversation we want to have today. Before I get to allow folks to talk, I do have to do, again, chair of the moderation, being the moderator, public service announcement for me, and Marty already told me it happened to him. We, TEDCO, got hacked today, and so there's a ton of emails going around out there that says RFP from TEDCO for tomorrow. Do not click on it. Do not click on it. So that's my PSA for the day. So with that, we're going to have a little fun, as I said. So my first question, I want them to introduce themselves, their company, and then we'll get into more details of the company. But my first fun question for each of them as they walk their way down, and we're starting with Mustafa, is if you could have one superpower, and by the way, I'm a Marvel geek, one superpower other than super strength, what would it be and why?
I'm not sure this is the right word, but teleportation.
Just introduce yourself.
By the way, my name is Mustafa. I am the CEO and co-founder of Astek Diagnostics. So many people die every year because of sepsis. And what you need to do with these guys is give them the proper antibiotics right away. But the current technologies take 2 days, and that is just so long. So we're building a technology that can determine antibiotic sensitivity in 1 hour.
So we'll get to the coolness of that in a minute. So we'll break that down shortly.
It is cool.
It is cool. Sue, my friend Sue Carr.
Hi guys, I'm president and founder of a company called CarrTech, and we're just incorporated. And what we do is we build, or a medical device company, and we build an all-in-one package, one needle filter for ampule-based medication. If you guys don't know what an ampule is, I think I have one in my pocket here. This is a glass ampule. And the problem is, to get to the medication, you have to snap the neck. And 100% of the time, glass shards will enter into that ampule and contaminate the medication. Therefore, it has to be filtered before it can be injected into the patient. This is a cost-effective, timely, multi-needle, multi-step process that can lead to glass shards entering the bloodstream or lead to non-compliance from the healthcare provider, and it slows the process down for the healthcare provider and increase the needle sticks. So the coolness is CarrTech has invented an all-in-one package, one needle filter that eliminates all of those problems, eliminates the needle stick injuries, saves time, lives, and money, and ensures that no glass shards enters into the patient's bloodstream.
So what's the superpower?
Oh, my superpower is to fly like the speed of a bullet, or beam me up, Scotty, right? So I can visit lots of lands and lots of places and spread the word and give out frogs, filter removal of glasses to those countries that need it the most.
There you go. So you probably, so we've got this theme, you think there's a theme. We've got, kind of bio, life sciences, these first two, but this is the trick. My friend Brad here is going to a whole different direction here with what he does, and he's cool.
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Brad Kronthal. I'm the COO and co-founder of Alloy. What we let you do, we're in the sports betting space, so we let you build custom sports betting strategies. We back test that, and then we tell you the upcoming games that fit your criteria to bet on, and really informing sports bettors on smarter betting and doing it the right way. My superpower, and this I guess is the problem of speaking third, because I was also going to say teleportation. I think practically just with the price of gas these days, that would make things a little easier to teleport, but also just going different places, meeting different people, and just connecting with people in person, which is amazing about this event. We finally get to do stuff like this again.
Amen.
So teleportation for me is being in person with other people, and that's great.
Amen. Marius, close us out on the first webpage.
Thank you, Troy. So let me start with a disclosure. I have lots of crazy uncles and aunts. And I'm Marius George Linguraru. I'm a principal investigator at Children's National Hospital. What does our hospital do? It helps children grow strong and healthy. What do I do at Children's Hospital? I work with artificial intelligence and quantitative imaging to create solutions that identify risks early, prevent disease, then identify what's the optimal treatment, and also monitor the treatment for children. And based on that, you may guess what my superpower would be. I would like to have supervision. I like to see more than what my eyes and my images can show. And basically, Superman was luckier, and he got some of that. I got reading glasses.
So I didn't say mine. Mine would have been super speed. Because with super speed, you can just do a whole lot of things with super speed, including change time, according to the comics. And you can do and be in more than one place, and to hell with gas. You ain't got to worry about gas no more. You got super speed. So let's find out more about this coolness. Again, again, we obviously will save some time for our folks here to ask questions. So just in particular, let me start with Sue, if I may, because you know, actually I talk about my kids. My kids, when they were really young, there was this phobia, with needles and the like, and being able to have. Does this help with some of that? Does your technology help with dealing with some of that?
My technology doesn't help people who are afraid of needles, but it does help the healthcare who gets stuck by needles.
Yep.
And another really cool thing is I'm working with a company to help prepare for FDA. Mm-hmm. And they came out with a product, it's a spray lidocaine, especially for children. I'll show you that too if I have that in my little...
You show and tell today.
That's right.
None of y'all came with show and tell, did you?
Teddy bear has lidocaine in it. So if you spray it on, it'll hurt less.
It'll hurt less for once at the patient, at the injection point.
It numbs up the arm, yeah.
Got it. And then, so where are you with your technologies? Where the cool, can people actually get this today? Is this the coolness there in the marketplace yet?
Not yet, but we're getting really close. We're preparing for FDA. We just finished conducting summative human factor studies, which is, we had actual pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, pharmacy personnel, and nurses try the current system, and they tried frog, filter removal of glass, that's what we call our little needle, and they overwhelmingly prefer frog over the current system, and most of them were not practicing the current system correctly.
So there's both a technology and it sounds like a process that's going to be changed with this as well. So how would you, again, breaking this down for the crazy uncle, how would you tell the crazy uncle that, what they're going to be looking forward to once your technology hits the market?
Safer medication preparation. They're not going to get glass shards in their bloodstream.
There you go. So Brad, he knows I'm really intrigued by his product and what he's doing, and my friend David is one of the investors in this. And by the way, TechCo's an investor in three of these companies up here. Full disclosure. So Brad, there's been obviously a huge explosion in sports betting that's kind of happened here in this last several years. Talk to me a little bit about your definition, how the coolness and how that kind of the crazy uncle can really start. I mean, is he a bettor? How's he going to take advantage of this platform?
Yeah, I think if you watch sports, then you are ingrained in the sports betting landscape. It's everywhere. You can't miss it. It's on every commercial break. It's in every stadium. It's everywhere. So I think what's cool is the way that research happens. The old days and even today, it's heavily reliant on picks-based solutions. So experts, like if you know Jimmy the Greek, you buy his picks, $50 a month, he's going to tell you the right games to bet on. What goes into that? No idea. They don't tell you. That's their proprietary algorithm. That's how they make money. So they can't tell you that. They can tell you how many games they've won. Is that luck? Is it based off an algorithm? I don't know. Nobody knows. But they're telling you that their win percentage is what it is, and you have to blindly trust that. We are completely open to giving all the transparent data out to you. So with our platform, we allow you to build your own custom strategies in seconds. We backtest that for up to 9 years, and you see games that you think should fit a criteria, and they populate that fit that night or that week if it's football. I know for me, I'm a huge sports fan. So I spend 3 hours every Sunday in the fall yelling at my TV as to why a player did this, why did we call that play, and the occasional, finally, it's about time they listen to me. So with our platform, you can plug in what you think leads to winning, and we'll tell you if it's worked in the past, and the games that fit that, what to bet on.
So actually,
Yep, no, I want this to be a conversation. Absolutely.
So like I've never done sports betting, but I'm intrigued by it. So like there's Tuesday, which is like Black Friday, you look for deals, and then there's Wednesday, Thursday, which it's like going on eBay looking for something that's mispriced. There's Friday, which is bad luck to bet on Fridays, and then there's Saturday, Sunday, which is like for the guys the Wall Street guys, right? Like it's like stock market. Where do you come into like in that whole Tuesday to Sunday?
Yeah,
for football, I'm a football fan.
Absolutely. So I think what Mustafa's kind of talking about is line movements. There's an opening line, especially for spreads, as where teams think, and just to dumb this down a little bit, when there's a better team that's playing a team that's an inferior opponent, spread is a way to handicap the game. So if the Ravens are playing the Steelers, I like the Ravens, so let's make them the favorite. So the Ravens are favored to win by 7 points. That's handicapping the game. That comes out on Monday. So the way you incorporate our product, we see it being a daily use. So you come in, if you build strategies that are custom, you build 1, 2, 3 good strategies every day, especially for basketball, which we're launching with right now. You can go in every day, see if there are games that fit your strategy every day. But really, for new bettors, for experienced bettors, our platform with our $15 a month price point, the goal of that is, you win one bet, pays for itself. You go in every day with that strategy and place those bets. But we totally see it being analyzed, and you can tweak those throughout the season. So we see this as a daily use product, pre-betting, and then going to the books to place the actual bet.
Gotcha. Cool.
So I think you just answered the question. So you plan on launching, you're not launched yet, correct?
So we have our big launch planned for Monday. So great timing with this panel.
Congratulations. And you're starting with basketball. Did I hear you say that correctly?
Yes, we are launching with the NBA. So we're launching with the NBA playoffs. Gives fans a great time to get in now and understand the platform. And as we build out our development team, our next big hit is going to be NFL. And hopefully Maryland will have mobile legal for the fall. It's legal if you go right now to brick and mortar casinos, so you can place a bet in person. But really the big money here is in mobile. So if Maryland has football ready, which I know is a big target, and that would be huge for Maryland to hit by the fall, that's what we're really aiming for with football, especially in the state.
But for clarity, so your platform isn't for placing the bets, it's for helping you determine who you want to bet on and how you want to place the bet.
Correct. So really the last step of our process is our upcoming game section. So we tell you the games to bet on that fit your criteria, and for full transparency, we link out to 4 sports books. As a user, you can see, the best lines to get at each sports book, and whichever one you're a member of, or if you're a member of all of them, you want to place the bet at the book with the best odds. You want to give yourself the best chance to win. So we list 4 of them for now, so you can see where best to place that bet to higher your chance of winning.
Outstanding. So thank you for that. We'll come back to, so that I think the crazy uncle figured that one out. So he's got a place to go place his bet. So saying with this kind of maybe risk platform, I want to go to you, Mustafa. Part of the challenge, some challenge of people maybe going to a hospital is the potential of getting infected.
Absolutely.
Getting something else happening to them other than what they went into the hospital for, and sepsis is one of those. Yeah. Talk to folks about the challenges and how you're helping people maybe get over that fear and that risk of going to a hospital and potentially getting sepsis.
Yeah, so the hospital-acquired infections are when your stay is so long, because like if you get sepsis, you're there for 2-3 weeks, right? And the problem is once you go in, they don't know what the infection is. So what they do is just give you the big guns, like 3 broad-spectrum antibiotics, and hopefully one of them will work, but there's still a guess. So what we're doing is like, okay, you don't need to guess anymore, right? Give them this specific antibiotic. In 6 hours, they're feeling better. And this is where actually we fit into their workflow. We're not yet launching, if that's the next question.
No. But talk a little bit more about what you do and how you're doing what you do.
Yeah, and what makes it cool is that we rethought the problem. So there was a whole process that they go through, take out the blood, send a culture. From the culture, you can add some things and determine the right antibiotic for the person. Well, that takes 3 days. It's like, okay, we're gonna skip all of that to what is the best antibiotic. So we just rethought the problem, and that just brought a great solution, as I see it, very, very innovative, which, is a challenge to convince people with in the beginning, but we're working on it.
And the challenge being, talk more about the challenge.
So they like to see what bacteria, like the specific strain of bacteria, so what bug is causing the infection. Mm-hmm. And we're like, well, why do you care about the bug if I can tell you what's killing it? And that is our big idea that we're trying to bring to the market.
And that's the coolness?
That is the thinking outside the box, so cool stuff.
That is cool. And where are you in terms of development and launching?
So we're actually submitting our breakthrough designation to the FDA in the coming month, so like in April, and then from there we get their feedback on our clinical plan, and then we perform the clinical plan, we submit our authorization request, and we're off to the races. Got it.
Yeah. So again, remember this is cool emerging technologies, right? That's the emerging being the key word here. So you've heard from 3 of our funds, and all these three are in the state of Maryland, where we are, and this is hosted by, and thanks again, Marty and his team for hosting us here at the Maryland Tech Council. But, we recognize we're in the DMV, and being in the DMV, even though we have the river there, the river doesn't stop the talent from flowing. And so we have our friends here from Children's National, Marius.
Guilty.
Thank you for being here. Tell us, so my question for you and the coolness is so you talked about this technology that gives better information to parents. So how do parents feel better about this using this technology to feeling better about the delivery of the healthcare to their children?
So maybe let me take everyone back for a moment and tell you a little bit about some of the things I'm working on. So we just heard about getting to the hospital. I work in a hospital, even if it's across the river. But what I'm really interested also is in having kids staying away from the hospital. Keep them home and keep them safe. But if they need to go to a hospital, find the best and the fastest way to get them there. So technology and digital technology are tremendous tools, very cool tools, right, to use in healthcare. So how many people here use a Fitbit? Or an Apple Watch? Hey, more and more hands coming up there, right? You see, well, we get apps that tell, if we're smiling, if we're crying, they read our face for security. We have apps that tell us how to wear a shirt, how to order a shirt, and how to order our glasses. How many people here have a personal geneticist?
Personal geneticist?
Personal? Your own?
Whoa.
So this is what we're trying to do, the cool thing. So we're working also with technology. We're using machine learning, deep learning, and digital technology.
Does a crazy uncle understand what a geneticist is?
Well, my crazy uncle should better understand that. Yes. So we created technology and software technology that reads your face, just like we have it for cybersecurity. We have it for, the Zuckerbergs read our faces all the time. Our phones read our faces all the time. We also can read about our health risks on our faces. So if a child is born and has certain patterns on the face, that may be an indication of risk later in life. So this kind of technology that can also be packaged. I mean, Sue had show and tell. I'll show you something that you all have in your pockets too. This is the geneticist. So how can parents feel better? Medicine is an art. If you're seen by the right doctor at the right time, you're on the right path. I hope we all agree with that. In Washington, D.C., in the DMV, we have elite healthcare systems. But children in the rest of the world don't have access to these kind of systems. Yep. So therefore, most of the kids with an inborn disease, and by the way, there are more than 7 million people every year born with a congenital condition, and the majority of these conditions are of genetic origin. So these kids are identified late when they may have symptoms. that need to be fixed differently, or they may put their life in danger. Actually, about 1 in 3 kids born with this condition is never identified, and about 1 in 3 dies before they turn 5-year-old. So the earlier we act on this, the better we are. Can we have a phone that we put in the hands, not necessarily of parents, but on health companions of parents that can put them on the right track early? I think that's the coolest thing of it.
And so talk a little bit more. So this technology is going to allow a parent to understand, given their child's situation, their condition, the path for the treatment for that child? And will it be geographic based, so they'll understand within that geography that they'll be able to get that service?
That's a very good question you're asking there, because diversity is key. We all here look different, right? If I compare the 4 of you to me, you're all going to go to a doctor. And vice versa. So identity diversity is really key. So we've done a study recently with data from 28 countries to look at kids coming from all of this variety of places. But we also have protocols in which we go where the patient is, because it's not just a matter of the diversity in our faces and our phenotypes, but also the diversity of healthcare systems. Exactly. We have to work with local systems, we have to work with the providers there, and to understand, what do you do with the kid? What do we do in the DMV? That kid is going to be seen by a cardiologist, by a geneticist, definitely, by a pulmonologist potentially, and all kinds of specialists that are going to create a very good comprehensive care plan for the kid. If you're born in other parts of the world where you don't have access to Children's National Hospital or other elite systems like this, then the story is very, very different. You have to start by telling parents how your child needs care, but your child can be better if you know how to take care of your child. You have to tell that parent again how to ask for help from the society and the infrastructure is available.
So will this lead to the potential for telehealth? In other words, in particular those areas that may not have access to certain types of specialists, there will be some type of telehealth?
Absolutely, that's one way. But telehealth is elite as well, because telehealth is expensive, and again, you need to have even the computational infrastructure to do that. Yep. So again, solutions have to be adapted to the point of care of the child.
Please.
So you're doing genetics, right? But then you mentioned the idea of the Fitbit that gives you like phenotypic information. So if you're a mixed genotype with phenotype, wouldn't that be like so powerful? Like you would know if a person would get sepsis just from like changes. You know their genetics, you know what's going on with their Fitbit. Would that work?
Of course it would work, and it does work. No, this is not future, it's present as well. You always have to combine as much information as possible. And I think what you just described very nicely is the power of big data. You need to have as much data, as much personal data for every individual.
And you could have an equation for every patient. But can you get the data from the Fitbit? Like, can you retrieve that somehow, like as a doctor?
You actually can, yes. And
cool.
our colleague, right, Kenny McKillen, for instance, he uses Fitbits to collect data from his patients. He's looking at patients with sickle cell disease, for instance, and he's trying to predict if a patient is going to get into some kind of a crisis. And Fitbit is very important for that. So we use that kind of data for healthcare. Is this something that it's incorporated in everybody's healthcare system right now? No, but we're also in the business not of just what we do today in healthcare, but what we're going to do tomorrow.
So because they're all great questions, Mustafa, and it leads to something, because all of you talked about data. And so my next, as I walk back through you all, and I will start Marius, where you were, as we talk about all this data that's about us, it's personal, how do you think about the protection of that data? How I got hacked today. How do you think about making sure that it's for you and for them, and particularly talking about parents and kids in your case, right? How do you protect that, and how do you make sure that I as a parent feel good about sharing this information, that it's not going to be used in some way to harm my child?
Absolutely, and I mean, we do this when we do research protocols. For instance, again, when we look into the future, you have to start with research. We're very, very careful not to have any of the health information that may disclose who that patient is, and to keep everyone safe. But in everyday practice, that has to work, right, like the clock. Well, there are a lot of cool things, how that can be done. But I'll tell you something that we use in our protocols that we do now. We want a lot of data. I was telling you about conditions that, pediatric conditions are rare. Maybe I didn't tell that, right? So we want to have data from as many kids as possible. We heard about digital twins. Finding the digital twin for a kid may not be trivial.
Yep.
So you have to find that kid that may be at the other end of the country or in another country. We want to share data between us. We want to use artificial intelligence to work with data like that. Traditionally, you are asking institutions to put data into one bucket. Everybody puts the data there. You make sure that everything is cleaned up before it's shared with the others. And then you run an algorithm on that central bucket. Right now, we do a lot of federated models in which you have a model that sits here in the middle, but the model then goes to every hospital and works in that environment. And then only it sends in the middle the lessons that it's learned from each hospital, from each individual, doesn't send the person's data anymore. So that's, again, that's great. It's a way that makes everything safer.
You anonymize the data, so there's no anonymity.
There's no data exchange at all. Yep. They're just parameters. These parameters are very abstract, right? We're now talking about lines and dots and crosses, right, to use something graphic.
Yep.
No longer data. But Troy, what I also want you to ask me, because you asked my co-panelists here, is when is this going to market?
I was getting there. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit, bro. But go ahead, since you asked it.
Well, since I have gotten there, because we are not a company, right? So we are not in the business of creating and selling products. But we do have an innovation office. My colleague, Dr. Iskandarian, is here.
Yes.
And with her support, we find partners that help us do that. So we license the great ideas. We don't license everything that we create, because not everything is going to make it there. But some of our good ideas to companies that are going to help us then commercialize and make products. And this is what we've done with this and a company called EngineRx, not based in Maryland, unfortunately. But that would be their role then to take our ideation and our great knowledge and make it into something that is going to be available to people's pockets.
So you've done the research and from a development and a production point of view, you end up in a licensing or a partnership type of model to get it out to other hospitals and other healthcare providers.
Absolutely, and that's what I want to say. It's a common point that the four of us have here, other than being cool.
Yeah, it's all emerging. So that's the whole point. So Brad, talk about your data. I mean, you've got a lot of data that you, and how do you, so my question to you around data is, how do you make sure that I, as someone who's using your platform, you're not doing something else with it and you've kind of made it anonymous as far as if you're using it to, because you're using what I'm doing, obviously, my behavior to help you do whatever you got to do to figure out where the better bets are going to be.
Yeah, I think the way to frame this in a transparent way is what is the data we're getting. And so the way the sports books use this data is the way they're shaping their odds. So the way they line shift, the way they put a game at a specific spread number or money line number, and they're using it in their benefit. I mean, you don't know many people, the majority won't say, hey, I beat the sports book, I'm always coming out profitable. I mean, the saying goes, the sports book always wins, the casino always wins, the house always wins. So what we're doing with our data is we're taking the same resources, the same tools that the sports books are getting, and new companies, you'll see a lot of them pop up in the sports betting space. They're affiliate partnerships as well with these sports books. So they're profiting in revenue sharing, which is essentially profiting in the losses of sports bettors. So they'll send sports books bettors. Bettors obviously lose more often than they win, and they profit in that from the sports book in their partnership. So we're taking the same resources and data that the sports books have, but we're giving it back to the fans to build their own models and use the data that way. And that's proprietary to them as they save their strategies throughout using our platform.
Got it.
Actually, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So do you provide information from different websites, or is it only one place? Like, is it?
Yeah, so the last step of our platform is our upcoming game. So you build a strategy, you want to see if there's results tonight, if there's a game to bet on. So we show the games that fit your criteria. So for example, tonight if it says, bet on the Lakers to win, we list out 4 sports books and we show the real-time odds of what the spread is or money line at those specific sports books. So a user can see, hey, at these 4 different books, where can I get the best odds? We're not pushing one specific book. We're pushing all of them, really, and you can belong to one, that's outside that range, but you get a consensus number as to what it should be, really to give it for the best user experience. We want to meet them where they are. Yeah. So whatever book they belong to, they can see the best odds to get, and if they're not getting good odds at their book, join another one. They all offer promos when you join. So it's in their best interest to join different books. I mean, if you get $100 free at a book, why not join more than one? It's in your best interest. So we like to meet our consumers where they are. and give them all the data they would need to make a profitable and educated pick.
Yeah, it's like an Easter egg hunt. If everyone is running towards a bunch of like books, you need to run to the other one, like the other side. And there's an egg there, but you have to find it. And I found that hard. So if you can bring it all together, I mean, that's awesome.
Exactly, and you'll see in the sports betting space, when there's a major bet placed at a book, the line shifts.
Yeah,
Mattress Mac is a big name in Texas. He bets like $4 million on the Super Bowl or the World Series. When he places a bet, that line, whatever way he goes, it goes the opposite direction because they need to compensate if he wins. So we provide all the books and give you the full data transparency.
So I grew up in Houston, so I actually know Mattress Mac. He's a hilarious guy. But I got a question before we go to Sue and close up with Sue Mustafa. So this past season in football, they had Monday Night Football did those multicasts. The mayonnaise one, but one of the multicasts was a sports betting line, and they literally had all kind of they had the crawl lines with all the sports betting and the different props. How are you guys handling like real-time props, the prop betting parts of it that can literally change the course of a game?
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be vital to our platform moving forward. We're launching pre-game, so what is the odds you get before the game starts, and then we are also integrating as we move forward live betting. So as points are scored, the line shifts mid-game, which is fascinating. And prop bets obviously are betting on different players to reach a certain number. For basketball, is this guy going to go over 20 points per game or under that? So we're working on integrating all of that. So we're a one-stop shop for all your sports betting needs and research.
Outstanding. So Sue, as we move to you, so you didn't. It may not be obvious to the crazy uncle, but I know because we're investors. The role the data plays in what you've done, and so you want to talk a little bit about how you've used data to put out your product.
A lot of research. There's a lot of research and development that goes into it. I actually hired Maria, if she's in here, to be my research specialist, and a lot of grant writing. And I noticed when I was going to college, I was working as a pharmacy technician, and that's when I first noticed the problem, because it was time consuming and I had to stand on my feet for long periods of time and batch large bags of IV using a lot of medications packaged in glass ampules. And I said, there's got to be a better way. Yeah. I told my director that, and he said, come up with a better way and you'll be a millionaire. We'll see about that. But,
that's what we're hoping on.
Yeah. But then I started exploring it, and I went to retail for many years, worked for CVS, managed it. But my passion was always hospital. So when I went back to hospital, and I realized that the same problem existed. I saw my technicians struggle. And then I started researching and going back to children's. They don't, with SIDS, every single child, when they're born, gets a vitamin K. And up until about 6 years ago, for the babies that are born, vitamin K was always in a glass ampule. So when I opened a new hospital, and we would stick filter straws next to the vitamin K to make sure the nurses were filtering it, and then they came out with a pre-made, pre-packaged item, that pre-filled syringe that they can use now, so it eliminates the problem. But then I noticed that there are glass shards in knees, and they couldn't really, it's kind of like brushed under the rug, but I had to find a reason. I had to find a solution, and so I kept digging and digging, and I had one patent that was issued, and they found out they couldn't build the mold, and so I had to do another patent. So basically, and then I had to research the amount of ampules. There are 4 billion, ampules are a $4 billion market, and glass filter needles are a $2 billion market. So those are just part of my research for understanding what the customer wants, which is basically my healthcare professionals, to make it easier for them. And I continue to do research every single day.
Outstanding.
So why do they still use glass? Like, I feel like it's so old.
Right? It is. It's like an antiquated system, but it's cheaper. It's readily available. Yeah. It stores for a longer period of time. And if you're going to ship it to underrepresented countries, it's a much easier way to do it.
Absolutely.
It's a shelf life issue. shelf life question. So Mustafa, who, if y'all hadn't figured out, is my co-host, co-moderator.
They're just so cool.
Well, I'm just let everybody know if they didn't figure it out. Make sure you put that label up there for him. So talk to us about, I know, because again, you and I have talked about this, the role of the technology. You're a researcher, but you're a practicum. Talk to us about that.
About like coming from research and going to business.
Absolutely.
I did research on this for 7 years, and I was like, that's my baby. I'm not giving it, I'm not licensing that thing away. I am gonna take it to market myself. And that was the biggest challenge, because you try to pitch and they say, so are you gonna like hire a CEO? I was like, I am not handing this thing over, that's mine. What I would like to see Maryland do better is focus on the rate of learning more than just experience. I would like to see...
Repeat that, that's good.
I'll repeat it.
Yeah, repeat it.
Rate of learning versus experience. And the second thing is competence over charisma, right? Researchers can be very smart, and just give them the right tools. They will know how to do it. They will know how to do it. I gotta tell you, like, I'm learning so much on the job, but I think I'm getting better at it. And
good for you. So we got a few minutes left. I want to open the floor up to our friends here in the room here. Again, I want to thank Marty and the folks at the Maryland Tech Council for allowing us to talk about cool emerging technologies. So questions. My man here's got the mic. Don't kill it.
It's just a portable battery. It's not too much in the way of cool emerging tech. So I had two questions, and I didn't know which to ask, so I'm going to merge them. But when you're talking about your idea, you want to get to market, you want to do it quickly, you choose a platform, you choose a technology, how do you sort of think about possibly pivoting, and how do you think about when scale factors in to going from the initial idea to kind of get buy-in to really building it out for a larger audience? I'm thinking about things like Twitter, even Facebook, that pivoted from one platform to another through their history. Thanks.
So you're asking the question, how do they take it to, it's a kind of a go-to-market and the marketing to the market.
Like, can thinking of scale prevent you from getting to market quicker, or how do you kind of factor that in so you don't have this regret that we should have thought about that earlier? Because it's always a challenge, and I just wasn't sure if that's like an active conversation.
So whoever's going to take it real quick, because we're going to...
Talk to your customers, know exactly what they need, be the expert on their need, and if there is a pivot, you'll see it right in front of you.
All right. So you want to add into that?
You have to pivot. I mean, we pivoted our alpha prototype maybe 3 or 4 times, and I think we've got it down right now. And basically from feedback, I went to I actually rented out a hotel room and invited all of my friends in healthcare. That's one of my secret sauces, is I know a lot of people in healthcare. And I had them try the old system, the current system, and I had them try Frog. And then after that, they told me, well, and so I made a video. And they said, well, you need to make an animated video because people just don't understand it. So I made an animated video. And now as we prepare for FDA, I'm thinking, Ann Balducci gave me this suggestion. He goes, get a QR code. And then I spoke to somebody, just have a video of it, no names, nothing, no print, so it can be interpreted in every language. So we're going to pivot with that. I'm pricing that out now if any of you guys do video.
Outstanding. Brad?
Yeah, we pivoted initially too. We were a baseball analytics platform, and now we're into sports betting. We have the core of our foundation being exactly the same, but we're always open. And one thing we love to do at our company is not pretend or be egotistic. So we always want to bring in smarter people that know more than us. That's how we connected with David, and now he's helping us. So for us, it's always building out a roadmap, but not staying too head on one or two ideas.
I may have
and
to question if you went to David, you thinking he was going to help give you better thinking about that. But we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say all of the above. Customer discovery, marketing in the classic sense, right? Visuals and PR, and I say partnerships also. Particularly for healthcare, that's what I do. So you have to have partnership between hospitals, research, and industry.
There you go. Absolutely. Any other questions?
Brad, it seems to me that if you're listing the sports books out there, that you're promoting for them. Have you looked at supplementing your revenues by getting them pay you to do that, and or give the better discounts or some reason to come to them versus the next one, so that you have that in your product?
Yeah, it's a great question, and just to be abundantly clear that we are a sports betting research platform. You cannot take bets on our app or our website. One thing that's really great about that is we are not an operator, so we don't have regulation costs for every state that needs, you need to be regulated in each state that's legal and go through a bunch of time and paperwork and a lot of fees for that, so we don't have to deal with any of that. We do have partnerships with 2 sports books, and there's really 2 ways to do it. I'll answer them really quickly. One is a revenue sharing, like I said before, and that's profiting in sports bettors' losses. That's obviously what we do not stand for. That's ethically against what we stand for, so we do not do that. But we do have a partnership where on a cost per acquisition basis. So every new user that we send them that uses our site for research, then clicks out to PointsBet and BetMGM, we get paid a number from that, and that's how we have those partnerships framed.
Outstanding. Any other questions? No, going once, going twice. So as we close out, got a few minutes. Can we close out with we started with some fun. We're going to close out with some fun because, again, we're about to go to happy hour. So we started out talking about your superpower, right? So, Marius, once you start us out, why don't you tell us what's the one thing, your secret passion, if you weren't doing this medicine now, what else would you be doing? What's that secret passion you would be doing?
Well, I'll tell you that my parents wanted me to be a doctor. Well, guess who won on that? I wanted to be a singer.
There we go. There we go.
So I still sing, but I do it at home for everyone's sake.
So you're not going to belt one out for us. Your favorite song? What type of music?
Well, I do classical music. I do lieder. So right now I love, there is a song cycle by Schumann called Dichterliebe, which has a song about the wonderful month of May. So each year when spring starts, I like to sing a song about May.
There you go. Brad.
I'd like to preface that my parents also wanted me to be a doctor. And that did not happen either. I also am not very good at singing. So I would say my passion is, if I was a little bit taller, a lot more athletic, I'd probably be a professional ball player.
There we go.
But
What sport?
Baseball.
Baseball?
Love baseball.
All right.
So instead, I worked in baseball for 5 years. I worked at Masson on the live sports production, working with Rick Dempsey, Tom Davis on the broadcast, Jim Palmer. And so that was awesome. So I knew if I wasn't going to be an athlete, and at my bar mitzvah, my rabbi said it probably wasn't going to happen. So I should have taken his advice then. But I knew I wanted to be in sports, and so I've kept that ever since, and just getting involved with the data has led me to Alloy, where we started this. It's always been sports in my life.
And you can say you're working with your brother, right?
I'm working with my brother, Spencer. He's the CEO, I'm the COO. So it's a great relationship that we have in being able to build the company, and also, we don't let anything fly. If there's something that we don't agree with, we'll make sure to tell each other, professionally sometimes.
Sue, what's that secret passion? What would you be doing if you weren't doing CarrTech?
Well, I do have another medical device, but I can't talk about it. So if I wasn't with CarrTech, I would, and I had all the money in the world, I would build a luxury resort area, probably in Islamorada or somewhere in the Keys. And for the men or the women who like to go out deep sea fishing, have a big boat, and send them out there. And for the women, have spas, facials, by the pool, sauna, massages, and have a little bar with a little...
There might be some men that want to do the massages too now. Let's
not
not be sexist here.
Right. I like deep sea fishing. So
See, there you go.
I go out with my son, and he would be captain, and a little bar, and instead of mixing medication, which I like to do, I'd be mixing drinks.
Oh my God. I don't know if we want to know all that, but okay. Mustafa.
I want to create energy out of plastic.
Energy out of plastic.
Get the plastic waste, somehow magically make energy out of it. I think that's 2 birds, 1 stone, and we need that.
That might be something you might do after this one then, huh?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. I love it. That's the plan. So for me, real quick, I would love to be a singer. So the quick story I tell is I was in this church we were living in Mississippi. It was one of those traditional Black Baptist churches and small male choir. And I got to do the solo, and my wife doesn't think I can sing. And so I knew where she sat in the church, and she sees me walk to the mic, and she's like, I'm like, and of course, I got invited to do it 3 more times to sing. So that's my story. I wanted to be a singer. So
We have 25 seconds. Do it, Troy.
my co-moderator.
Do it.
No. She's probably watching this, so no, that's divorce court waiting to happen. So thank you all again. Maryland Tech Council, thank all of you. I think this, Marty, this is a great, being able to come out, post-COVID. Thank the folks here at the racetrack. Look, where's my drink? Kim, I got my drink right here. So the next event is the happy hour. Thank you all for this day. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here today. Again, thanks for being, thank you all for talking about cool emerging tech.
Thank you, Brian.
Salute.